This story is an update of a previous post I made. You should go read that one first and get all caught up if you haven't. Another thing I would like to mention is that I plan on posting updates for you guys every 24 hours. Before I get into the details of what happened yesterday, I would like to clear something up. I do own a gun, a black Taurus PT-92, which I usually keep on the inside pocket of my jacket. I did not have my gun with me when I went to the secret house because I did not think that Michael would be dangerous. And if I was found, I did not want to be armed. If I had my gun with me, I would have most likely shot Michael and tried to save the girl. Now for the story. I slept for a few hours following my original post, but I couldn't stop thinking about Maria. That poor girl is obviously sleeping next to that sick monster. I decided that I needed to investigate the secret room. I went to his workplace at around 11 a.m. and checked to see if his car was there. I saw his car and checked to make sure that it was the same license plate, which it was. I decided that this meant I was safe to go check out the secret house. I drove out there and arrived a little bit before midday. I took a peek through the window and noticed nothing out of the ordinary, so I picked the lock and stepped inside. I opened the wardrobe and slid the back across. I pulled out my handgun and flashlight and began to investigate. The first thing I noticed was that all the plastic had been taken down. I searched under the pillow expecting to find a knife, but I didn't find anything. In fact, the entire room looked spotless. The only things I found in the room was the bed, a nightstand next to the bed with a lamp on it. I checked inside the drawers of the nightstand and all I found was a roll of paper towels in the top drawer. Once I thoroughly investigated the hidden room, I walked upstairs and started to investigate the house one more time. I made sure to leave everything the same way I found it, and leave no trace that anyone had been here. After I finished my investigation, I decided that there was no way I could keep this from his wife. Every moment she stayed with him, she was in danger. I got back into my car and drove to the nearby gas station I had left my car the previous 2 days. It was about 2 o'clock by this time, so I knew Maria was still at work. I pulled out my phone and sent her an email. Hey Maria, I made some great progress on that project we're working on. I have something that you definitely need to see. Please stop by my office right after work if you're able to. I wanted to be as vague as possible, just in case she happened to read it around anyone. I headed back to my office with all my evidence and notes. I had not decided if I was going to show her the part where he murdered the woman, but I was leaning towards the idea. As reluctant I was to get the police involved, I didn't want to end up endangering her any more than I already had. Just to be safe, I downloaded the video to my laptop, cut out the part that included the homicide, and saved the cut video to my laptop. I waited for her until around 6. That's when I decided to call her. No answer. I went over to her place of work, and I didn't see her car in the parking lot. After calling her one more time and receiving no answer, I decided to drive over to the home address she gave me. I was confident that Michael was not home. I drove up to her house and saw 2 cars, hers and Michael's. It was about 7:30 this time, so I decided to ring the doorbell. I rang it and waited for a minute or so and saw Michael open the door. I was shivering.
We aren't interested.
I was complimenting shooting him right there, but he held his left hand behind him. This meant that he was either holding a gun or pretending to. I didn't want to take my chances. I'm a coworker of Maria's. I urgently need to speak with her.
Whatever it is, I'm sure it can wait till tomorrow morning.
It is very important that I speak to her right now.
Did you try calling her?
I did.
And if she didn't answer, she probably doesn't want to speak to you right now.
He slammed the door in my face. I immediately began to worry about Maria's well-being. My first idea was to call the police, posing as Michael complaining about harassment, but I quickly found flaws with that plan. The most important one being that, knowing what Michael's capable of, Maria might be dead before the police show up. I hopped the fence into the backyard. All I had on me was my pistol and my flashlight. I saw a pipe on the outside leading into their bedroom window. I put my gun into my jacket pocket and held the flashlight with my teeth. I climbed the pipe, and when I reached the window, I held the flashlight and shined it through the window. I saw Maria lying motionless. I looked closer and I saw blood near her mouth. I dropped the flashlight and pulled out my gun. I shot the lock that held the window shut and slid it open. I ran to the light switch, then turned it on. Then I went over to Maria. After noticing her ankle and some further inspection, I came to the realization that she was still alive and conscious. The only thing I noticed wrong with her, save a few bruises, was a laceration on her Achilles tendon. At this point, it was obvious that he did not mean to kill Maria. He could have done that easily. He just wanted to occupy me while he made his escape. I took off my jacket and wrapped it around Maria's ankle to stop any more bleeding. I held Maria's hand and told her to stay with me while I phoned the police. 911, what's your emergency? I need you to send police and paramedics to... I told the operator Maria's address. Of course, what's your problem? I'm with the woman who has been attacked by her husband. She is bleeding. Is she conscious? Yes, she is. May I please speak with her? Can you speak with the operator, Maria? I asked. Maria opened her mouth. I thought that she was trying to say something, but she wanted to show me something. I took a look into her mouth to notice that it was bleeding and lacking a tongue. Oh, Christ. Maria pointed over to the nightstand. I looked and saw her severed tongue and a post-it note next to it. I hung up the phone, certain that the police and paramedics were well on their way, and walked over to the post-it note. Your move was written in pencil. I was thinking fast and decided to get rid of the note to prevent the police from reading it. I tore the note in half. Then I tore those halves into halves. I then put the pieces in my mouth and after a few moments, swallowed them. I returned to Maria and kept talking to her to make sure that she didn't lose consciousness. The police came and brought me in for questioning and took Maria to the hospital. I told the police the truth, but not the whole truth. I explained that I'm a private investigator that she hired to see if her husband was cheating on her. I told them that I discovered that he was and sent her an email explaining that we needed to meet. When she didn't come to my office, I went over to her house to meet with her. He opened the door and wouldn't let me speak with her. I feared for her safety, so I broke in and found her that way. I neglected to tell them about the secret house and about the girl that he killed. They let me go, but without my gun or my coat. They dropped me back at the house where they were conducting their investigation so that I can get my car. I drove over to the office where I could grab a spare flashlight. I asked a colleague of mine if he had a gun I could borrow for a few days. He told me that I could borrow his handgun, a Beretta 8000, as long as I returned it by the 8th. I thanked him and headed to the hotel so I could spend the night. I couldn't make the mistake of underestimating him. I needed to play this thing safe. The only thing that I know right now is that I lost the biggest advantage I had, which was his failure to know that I was investigating him. Tomorrow I plan to head over to the hospital to check up on his wife. I have a head start on the police, meaning that if I work fast, I can catch them before they do. It's my move. Let the games begin. What's up guys, Psychotic Maniac here. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, slap a like on it and share it with your friends. So you don't miss out on any of my future content, subscribe to my channel. Before you guys go, I would like to give a big shout out to Horror Origins for helping me voice Michael. He will be doing the voice of Michael for the remainder of the series. This series is going to be 5 parts altogether. You should go check out Horror Origins' channel and his content. And while you're there, why don't you guys subscribe to his channel? I will leave the link to his channel in the description. Thanks for watching, and remember, everyone is a tad bit insane.